Page 273, exercise 18 says this. Maximizing volume. From a thin piece of cardboard 20 inches by 20 inches, square corners are cut out so that the sides can be folded up to make a box. What dimensions will yield a box of maximum volume? What is the maximum volume? Here's a thin piece of cardboard that's 20 inches by 20 inches. We're going to cut corners, square corners. This is a square that we're cutting off. Here's another square corner that we're going to cut off. And another one over here and another one here. So these 4 squares are going to be cut off of the cardboard. Cut these off and throw them away. Then we're going to fold the cardboard up on these red lines. Fold up these 4 flaps. These 4 flaps up here on the top and on the bottom and on the sides. Those fold up to make the sides of a box. Since the side of the square right here was 20 inches, and the sides we're cutting off are X inches by X inches. This square here that we're cutting off is X inches by X inches. So that red side there, that red line segment there, is 20 all the way across, minus these 2 X's. Because we're cutting those off and throwing them away. This side is 20 minus 2x. And likewise, this side will also be 20 minus 2x. And this red thing is the bottom of the box. This things up here will fold up and become the sides. That would make the height of the box x. Because this side, this is what folds up to make a side. The volume of a box is the length, which is 20 minus 2x, times the width, which is 20 minus 2x, times the height. And the problem is to maximize this. We want it to be maximized. That means as big as we can get it. Maximize the volume, length times width times height. So the volume, which is a function of x, is 20 minus 2x times 20 minus 2x. Times x, which is 400x minus 80x squared plus 4x to the third. V prime of x is 400 minus 160x plus 12x squared. We're going to find when v prime, which is 12x squared minus 160x plus 400, is equal to 0. We can divide both sides of this equation by 4 and get 3x squared minus 40x plus 100 equals 0. Divided both sides of this by 4 to get this. 3x squared minus 40x plus 100 is the same as 3x minus 10 times x minus 10. The reason I say that is because 3x times x is 3x squared. Negative 10 times negative 10 is positive 100. And outers, here, it's negative 30x. Inners, in here, that's negative 10x. Combine these like terms, we get negative 40x, which is exactly what's there. That means that this is equal to 0 when 3x minus 10 equals 0, or when x minus 10 equals 0. If you have trouble factoring this trinomial, you could solve this using the quadratic formula. 3x minus 10 equals 0 when x is 10 thirds. And x minus 10 equals 0 when x is 10. We're now going going to perform the first derivative test. This V represents the volume of this box we're making. V prime is the derivative of V. This is X. Mark 10/3 on the X axis because V prime is 0 when X is 10/3. For the same reason we mark 10, the reason we're marking it is because V prime is 0 when X is 10. These numbers are called the critical values. If you plug a number smaller than 10/3, by the way, 10/3 is the same as 3 1/3. Plug a number smaller than 3 1/3, like 0, into V prime. So you're plugging into whatever number you pick, you're plugging into this. And you'll get a positive number. If you plug any number in between these, like 4 into V prime, you will get a negative number. You should take the time to check that out. And if you plug a number bigger than 10, any number bigger than 10, into V prime, you'll get a positive number. Which tells us that V, these things tell us that V is increasing, then decreasing, then increasing. Anytime V prime is positive, V is increasing. Or any function that, if the derivative of a function is negative, the function is decreasing. Another way to say it is when something has positive slope, it looks like this. When something has negative slope, it looks like this. Now I can see that V, that stands for volume, is maximum, as big as it can be, when X is 3 1/3. And V is minimum, as small as possible, when X is 10. I don't care about the minimum though. We want this maximized. So I'm going to write this down. V up here, that stands for volume, is maximum when X is 3 1/3. X is the little piece we cut off here, and that's measured in inches. That's actually the height of the box. The other sides of the box, each of them is 20 minus 2x. So take 20 minus 2 times this number, and you'll get, I believe you get 13 1/3. Which means the dimensions of the biggest box we can make, well, the maximum volume, is 3 1/3 inches by 13 1/3 inches by 13 1/3 inches. Because the length and width are both 13 1/3 inches, which we got by putting 3 1/3 in right here. What is the maximum volume? The maximum volume will have to be this length times this width times this height. The volume is the length times the width times the height. And if you calculate that, I think you're going to come up with 592 16/27 inches times inches times inches. So we label this cubic inches. And the next problem is on page 285. Exercise 6. For Sunshine Motors, the weekly profit in dollars of selling X cars is negative 0.006 x to the third minus 0.2 x to the second plus 900x minus 1200. P stands for profit measured in dollars. X is the number of cars sold. It says currently 60 cars are sold weekly. Part A, what is the current weekly profit? The profit currently 60 cars are sold, is going to be negative 0.006 times 60 to the third minus 0.2 times 60 squared plus 900 times 60 minus 1200. Put that in my calculator. Negative 0.006 times 60 to the third minus 0.2 times 60 squared plus 900 times 60 minus 1200. So I get the profit when 60 cars are sold. That means the current weekly profit is $50,784. Part B, how much profit would be lost if the dealership were able to sell only 59 cars? The profit when 59 cars are sold would be negative 0.006 times 59 cubed minus 0.2 times 59 squared plus 900 times 59 minus 1200. The profit when 59 cars are sold. Putting in my calculator, negative 0.006 times 59 cubed minus 0.2 times 59 squared plus 900 times 59 minus 1200. That's $49,971 and about 53 cents, rounding to the nearest cent. They make this much profit when 60 cars are sold. This much profit if only 59 cars are sold. So the profit that would be lost would be this number minus this number. 50,784 minus 49971.53, which is $812. $812.47 is the profit that would be lost. Because this number is $812.47 less than the profit made if 60 cars are sold. Part C says, what is the marginal profit? So, marginal profit, the word marginal means the derivative. If we see marginal profit, we just think P for profit prime. Any problem that says marginal cost means the derivative of the cost. Any problem that says marginal revenue means the derivative of the revenue. And also you could use the symbol BP dx, the derivative of the profit with respect to x. So we're looking up here at the profit. The derivative of that is negative 0.018 x to the second power minus 0.4 x to the first power plus 900, because the derivative of 900x is 900. question says, what is the marginal profit, that means P prime, when X is 60? So we're going to take the marginal profit here and just plug in 60. Negative 0.18 times 60 squared minus 0.4 times 60 plus 900. Negative 0.18 times 60 squared minus 0.4 times 60 plus 900. I have to do that again because I put this decimal in the wrong spot. It's negative 0.018. That decimal does not belong there. And so when I do it correctly, we get $811.20. And let me just say, this is the important thing. It is not a coincidence that that number is really close to that number. Because when we say marginal profit, when X is 60, that means how much the profit would be different if X changed marginally. What I mean is if we change X a little bit, like from 60 to 59 or from 60 to 61, the profit would change by that amount, approximately. That's what we mean by the marginal profit, which is the derivative of the profit. So, if we decrease the profit, or if we decrease the number of cars a little bit, the profit should go down by this amount. If we increase the profit, or if we increase the sales by just a little bit, the profit should go up by about that much. So, to answer part D, it says use the marginal profit. Use marginal profit to estimate the weekly profit if sales increase to 61 cars. So P prime of X was negative 0. Actually, I just need the answer we just got. I don't have to do this again. The marginal profit when X was 60 came out to be $811.20. So that means the profit, if we just increase sales marginally, that word means a little bit, like one more car is sold, should be whatever the profit was when 60 cars were sold, $50,784, plus this marginal profit, $811.20. So we're going to estimate that the profit when 61 cars are sold will be $51,595.20. That's not to say it's going to be exactly that, because if you put 61 in the original P function, it's probably not going to be that exactly, but it should be close.